start it on our backs. Allow yourself to melt down into the earth. Feel the earth holding you. Notice all the points that the earth is touching your body. So your heels, your calves, your thighs, your glutes, all the way up your spine. Feel how the earth feels up against it. And then moving to your hands. Your palms are down or up. Along your arms, your shoulders, the back of your neck. As you lay here, allowing earth to hold you and support you, gently close your eyes and begin noticing how your breath is. It might be a little shallow still from the day, daily tasks, moving around and doing your own thing. Begin to lengthen your inhales and your exhales. As you inhale, imagine that you're blowing up a balloon. So you're really filling up that space in your belly, and then your rib cage, your diaphragm. Everything gets really round and full on the inhale. Leads up to the chest, through the throat. And then on the exhale, slowly allow that balloon to release. Just work through deepening your inhales and exhales here for just a few moments on your own. You can even place your hands on your belly, feeling that rise and fall. Notice if any thoughts begin to creep in, and just try to let those go. Focusing just on your breath. Unclench your jaw. Release any tension in your face. We hold a lot of tension in the space called the third eye, right in between both eyebrows. Release that space. Allow your eye sockets to melt and feel heavy. Keep with your deep inhales and your deep exhales. And then I would like to invite you to an intention today of the word dedication. Because we're starting a new semester of classes and work, I want to bring to mind's eye what the word dedication means. To dedicate something, it means to set apart and consecrate for a sacred purpose. So set apart and consecrate for a sacred purpose. So just take a moment here and ponder on this definition. And maybe think about, what do you hope to achieve? What are your goals for this semester? What are your goals for your life? And dedicate today this practice here on your mat to this semester. And as you inhale and exhale, you will inhale, imagine you're inhaling the new, so new semester, excitement, what's to come. And on your exhale, you're going to exhale out all the old. And let's begin by inviting movement with our breath, by inhaling our arms up overhead, reaching tall and long. out of our rib cage, or out of our fingertips, pointing your toes so the energy is flowing on both sides of your body, out of those fingers and out of those toes, really reaching. And on the exhale, draw the right knee into your chest. Hold it here for just a moment. Maybe wiggle out your ankle one way or the other. Point and flex your toes. And then inhale, arms up overhead. Extend that right leg long. Really reaching again out of the full body. And on the exhale, draw the left knee into chest. Again, roll out that ankle if it feels good. One direction and the other. Point and flex your foot. And then inhale, again, reaching tall, extending the left leg really long. And on the exhale, drop both knees into your chest, giving yourself just a nice big bear hug here. Maybe rolling from side to side, massaging out the lower back. And then keeping your knees bent in, lift your feet so that you can see your toes slightly above your knees. And then bring your arms out into a T. We're going to create a little flow here, warming up our core muscles. On your inhale, you're going to stay here in the middle. And then the exhale, slowly drop your knees over to the right. Not completely landing onto the ground, but hovering. So engaging your core, warming up your spine. And then inhale, back to center. Exhale, over to the left now this time. Slowly melting over to the left. And then inhale, back to center. Exhale, over to the right. Very slow movements. Again, just hovering to the ground, not completely going down. And then inhale, back to center. Exhale, over to the left. Inhale, center. And just move through that flow to the right slowly and to the left slowly on your own breath. Feel how your spine is being supported on your inhale, and on your exhale, feel that nice little just gentle twist here. I'm going to do one more round, and we will all meet with our knees lifted back high on the inhale. And then on the exhale, we're going to rotate over to the right, this time allowing your knees to completely fall to the ground. In a deeper twist here, you can keep your gaze up towards the sky, or you can take your gaze over the left shoulder. Find your breath. Notice if you're starting to clench anywhere in your body, and release that clenching. Keeping your eyes closed. Keeping that intention of dedication. And when you're ready, inhale, knees back up to center. And exhale all the way over to the left, melting your knees, allowing them to finally let the earth hold them. Your gaze can stay up towards the sky or over your right shoulder blade. Your right shoulder, your right arm. Then inhale, knees up to center. And once more, draw your knees into your chest, giving yourself a little hug. And we'll do 3 spinal rocks up to seated. So rock on your spine, lifting up 1, 2, and 3. Crossing your legs here, finding a seated position. So now we're in seated here. Let's inhale, arms up overhead, taking your gaze with it. And on your exhale, we're going to rotate over to the right, dropping that right arm behind you, the left arm in front of you. Gaze is over the right shoulder. Breathe through the stretch, through the twist. Your gaze is soft over that right shoulder. And then staying in the twist, take your gaze now over the left shoulder. Notice how that changes the stretch for your neck. Make sure you can still breathe. Find your breath. And then we're going to unwind. Inhale, arms up overhead. And exhale, twisting over to the left now. And your gaze just softly goes over that left shoulder. Notice if you're clenching in your hips. Sometimes in these twist poses, other areas of our bodies want to tighten and clench up and release that tension. Allow your body to do the work here. And staying in a twist, just simply take your gaze over the right shoulder. And then inhale, arms all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's bring both the soles of our feet together, allowing our knees to splay out. Take two fingers, your pointer and your middle finger, and wrap it around your big toes. And really lift up out of your rib cage and allow your shoulders to go up and back. So we're really lifting up out of our spine. Slightly tuck your chin and leading with your chest, fold slightly forward. Find that spot that's the edge of your stretch where you feel sensation in your hips. If you feel any pain, please back out. So find the sensation, breathe through the tightness. Deep inhales, inhaling the new, exhaling the old. And then slowly coming to center. Bring both knees into chest and your hands come behind you and just give yourself a little windmill, rocking back and forth with your hips. You can make this as small or as big as you need to. So the bigger you make, the more of a twist you go into your spine, the smaller it is, the more you're a little bit more in your hips. So just twisting back and forth. And then we will all meet in tabletop. With our hands directly underneath our shoulders, knees directly underneath our hips here. Moving into some cat-cows, allow your belly to drop, your chest to lift, and your gaze to go up towards the sky. And then on the exhale, rounding out your spine like a rainbow, your belly button draws in. Your head is long and heavy. Inhale, lifting up for cow. Gaze goes up towards the sky. And exhale, really rounding that spine. Navel draws in. Inhale for cow. Lifting up out of that chest, gaze up towards the sky. Exhale, cat. Rounding the spine. Just move through that organically on your own, few rounds, moving with your own breath as slowly, or maybe if you want to speed it up to build your heart rate a little bit here. Whatever your choice you move through, know that's what your body is asking you to do today. And then we will all meet back in tabletop. Spread your knees out wide to the outer edge of your mat. Your big toes touch and press back to the Wonderful child's pose. Extend your arms long. Allow your chest to melt towards the ground. And lastly, your forehead comes down onto the ground. Make sure you're inhaling deep and exhaling deep. And then keeping our hips drawing towards our heels, staying with our hips in our child's pose position. You're going to take your left arm and just thread it underneath your right shoulder, your right arm. And then allow that left shoulder to come down onto the ground and the left ear to come down. Your right arm can be extended long out in front of you, or you can wrap it around to that left hip, allowing the right shoulder to really open up more. Send your breath work through the twist, through the shoulder opening. I like to still keep my eyes closed, allowing the external world to melt away, coming more internal with how I'm feeling in my body. And then if you have your right arm wrapped around, extend that back out long and press with that palm up. Extend both arms out, finding child's pose once more. And then taking the right arm, doing that on the other side, we're going to thread it through underneath the left arm, allowing the right shoulder now to come down onto the ground and the right ear comes down. Your left arm, again, it can be extended long out in front of you, or it can wrap around to meet that right hip, opening up in the left shoulder. Close your eyes. Inhale the new and exhale the old. And then if you have the bind, release that left hand down and slowly press up, finding our way back in tabletop. Bringing your knees directly underneath your hips. We'll walk our arms out long, keeping our hips lifted, finding our puppy pose here. So our hips are lifted up towards the sky. Your toes can be tucked under, or you can be on the tops of your feet. Allow your chest to melt towards the ground and your forehead comes down. Feeling that big stretch of the shoulders now. Finding your opening space here, your heart space. Deep inhales, deep exhales. And then slowly lift back up and walk your hands almost underneath your shoulders, but slightly in front of your shoulders. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, and we will find our way in our first downward facing dog. Let's make it playful in our first down dog by walking it out, bending one knee and then the other. Maybe shaking your hips from side to side. Shake your head no, shake it yes. Make the movements organic with what your body is asking you to do. Move out, stretch out all of that tension. And then rise up onto the tiptoes and then allow your heels to melt towards the ground. You're going to feel a big stretch in your calf muscles here. Do that a couple times, rising up on your tiptoes and then melting your heels down to the ground. And then we're going to bend our knees deeply, just hovering about 1 inch from the ground, and then extend them out. Bend them deeply, and extend them out. Do that one more time. Bend your knees deeply. Extend them out. Shake your head no, shake it yes. And then rolling forward to our plank. So we're going to roll forward, creating kind of a rainbow with our spine. Coming up onto our tiptoes, rolling forward, finding our plank position. You can stay in plank, or if you want to do the modified version, come down onto your knees. Bending at our elbows, we're going to come all the way down onto our bellies. Then bringing our arms behind us, let's interlace our hands behind our back. Press into the tops of your feet and lift up out of your chest. Finding a little cobra here. Opening up the chest and the shoulders. Creating strength in our lower and our upper back. Make sure you can breathe. And then release it all the way down, allowing your left ear down onto the mat. Release your hands. Close your eyes. Find your breath. We'll do that one more time. So come back with bring your chin to the mat. Interlace your hands behind your back. Again, pressing into your feet. Lift up with your chest. And lastly, you can lift with your hands, extending them out long towards your feet. Let's lift up maybe one more inch higher, and then exhale, release down with your right ear onto the mat. Bringing your chin onto the mat, onto center. Bring your hands now right towards your rib cage. Bending at the elbows, tuck your toes, lift up and back to downward facing dog. We'll rise up on our toes, bend deeply in our knees, and walk towards your hands towards the front of the mat, finding our first forward fold. Grab hold of opposite elbows and just ragdoll here. Make sure to keep a little micro bend in your knees. If you have really tight hamstrings like me, you can bend really deeply in your knees, allowing your chest to come towards your thighs even more. And maybe play with that a little bit, see which one you like best. Just kind of sway back and forth. And then release your arms all the way down. Shake your head no. Shake it yes. Then inhale, halfway lift. Your hands meet the front of your shins here. Gaze is towards the ground. Your belly button is zipped up towards the middle. You're holding and engaging your core. And then exhale. Release it all down. Rolling up one vertebrae at a time. We will come to a standing mountain, allowing your shoulders and your head to be the last thing that comes up. So we're in standing mountain here. We'll inhale, arms up overhead. Gaze follows. Exhale, leading with your chest. Your arms come out open, swan dive. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Pull the belly button in. Exhale, plant your hands, and you can step back to plank or modified plank with your knees down. Inhale here for just a moment, and then exhale, bending at your elbows, come all the way onto your belly. Inhale, lifting up for cobra. Exhale, tuck your toes, lift your hips. Downward facing dog. Rise up on your toes, bend deeply in your knees, and walk towards the front of your mat, towards your hands. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, gaze is soft towards the ground. Exhale it all out. Forward fold. Pressing into the mat with your feet, slowly roll up, one vertebrae at a time. Rolling your shoulder blades up and back. We'll move through this flow 2 more times. Inhale, arms up overhead, gaze goes with it. Exhale, leading with your chest. Arms come out to that T position, swan dive. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands. Feet step back to plank or modified plank. Inhale here. Exhale, bending your elbows. Chaturanga down. Inhale, lift your chest for cobra. Exhale, tuck your toes. Downward facing dog. Rise up on your toes on the inhale. Then deeply in your knees and walk towards the front of the mat. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway left, flat back. Exhale it all out. Inhale, rolling up 1 vertebrae at a time, pressing firmly into the ground with those feet. Allow your shoulders to roll up and back. Exhale. 1 more time through. Inhale, arms up overhead. Gaze goes with it. Exhale, leading with the chest. Swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Think about zipping in that belly button, engaging the core. Exhale, plant your hands. Feet step back to plank or modified plank. Inhale here. Exhale, bend the elbows, leading with the chest. All the way down. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog, yogi's choice. Exhale, tuck your toes, lift your hips. Downward facing dog. Let's stay here in down dog, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth for 3 cleansing breaths. And then lift your left leg up towards the sky for 3-legged dog. Your hips here are neutral and aligned with one another, so we're not opening up our hip. We're keeping it neutral. And then on the exhale, bend your knees and draw it in towards the right elbow. Just hovering here, engaging your core. And lift it back up for 3-leg dog. Bend that knee, draw it in now to the left elbow. Hover. And back up, 3-leg dog. Bend the knee, draw it in. This time we're going to plant it in between both of your hands, finding low lunge. Let's just rock back and forth here in this low lunge on the back of that foot. So we're going to come up deeply onto our toes and then allow your heel to melt down. Just do that a little bit on your own. And then drop down that right knee onto the ground. Uncurl the back toes. Plant that right hand, the right palm down. We're going to twist over to the left. Bringing the left arm up. Gaze goes with it. Find your inhale. Find your exhale. And then bring that left arm back down. Let's lift both arms up, coming into this little stretch here where we're stretching out the right psoas hip muscles here. Arms up overhead. Take a big inhale, maybe do a little baby back bend. And then hands come back down onto the mat. Tuck your toes, lift that right knee back up. Then we're going to plant that right foot, rotating it slightly at a 45-degree angle here. And windmill your arms up to warrior 2. Gaze is strong and steady over the left fingertips. Your knee is tracking directly above that heel. It also is towards your the outer edge of your foot, not coming in, but out. And then this right leg is strong, and the energy line is coming on the outer edge of the right foot. Breathe through the steadiness of the warrior 2. And then inhale forward slightly, And exhale, reverse the warrior. Gaze goes up towards the sky. Inhale, back to warrior two. Let's create a little dance here. Exhale, reverse the warrior. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, reverse. One more. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, reverse. Then inhale, warrior two, and then extend that left leg long and move the left foot forward. So we're in here. Now both feet are facing parallel with one another. Interlace your hands behind your back. Lift the chest, lift the gaze, and leading with the chest, fold forward. You can stay here if you want to have that deeper stretch in the front of your chest with your arms and your hands interlaced. Or you can release the hands down and play with the position of walking your hands out and then walking them back behind you. Feeling the big stretch in your hamstrings. Feeling the live energy coming on the outside of both of the feet here. And then let's all just meet with our hands directly underneath our head, our face. Release your head, release your neck. And then flowing from side to side, bend that right knee, extending the left leg, walking your hands over to the right. And then coming back to center, over to the left. Back to center, over to the right. Just move through this little flow here on your own, feeling the stretch in your hamstrings, finding the focus. One more time on the left, and then we'll meet in center here. Bring your hands behind your back, meeting at your hips, and slowly pressing into both feet. Slowly come back up to standing. Then we're going to rotate both feet to our toes are slightly outward now. We're going to bend into our knees, finding our goddess. Our arms come up and back into cactus arms. Hold here for just a moment, tracking the knees towards the outer edge of both feet. Breathe deeply. Creating a little flow. Inhale all the way up. Exhale. Inhale, arms all the way up towards the sky. Gaze goes with it. Exhale with your mouth open. Inhale, arms up. Exhale. One more. Inhale, arms up. And exhale. And then we'll just meet back with our legs extended. We're going to rotate now over to the right and bring that left foot back around, bending into our low lunge. And we're now in a low lunge on the right side. So you should be facing the back of your mat. Hold in this low lunge for a minute, and we'll rock back and forth. Good. And then drop that left knee down. Plant the left hand. Rotate over to the right. The right arm reaches up towards the sky. Twisting to the right. Inhales and exhales. Make them deep. Inhaling the new, exhaling the old. And then bring that right arm back down. And then lift both arms up overhead. Bending in to that right knee. Feel that deep stretch on the left hip. You can stay here, or you can take your gaze up towards the sky and create a little mini back bend. And windmill your hands back down. Lift up, tuck your toes, lift up that knee, and plant the left foot down. Windmilling the arms, finding our warrior two now on the right. Bending into that right knee, again finding the traction and alignment with your knee to your ankle. The energy comes out, the outer edge of that left foot. And then your gaze is soft and steady over the right fingertips. Inhale, forward slightly. Exhale, reverse the warrior. Left arm comes down, right arm up towards the sky. Inhale, back to warrior two. Exhale, find your dance. Reverse warrior. Inhale. And exhale, reverse. Finding your flow, finding your own rhythm. One more time, reverse the warrior. And warrior two. Extend that right leg long, and we're gonna rotate those toes forward. Hands are gonna be on the hips this time. Your elbows are gonna draw in, so your chest is still lifted, gaze is up, leading with the chest. Fold forward. And we'll do our flow once more. So bending into the right knee, walking your hands over to the right. Coming to center. Over to the left. Maybe stopping in any spots that feel extra tight and holding them there. Just a gentle reminder, in yoga there's no pain, so if you're feeling any pain, back out. I want to feel, excuse me, we want to feel the stretch and the sensation, but no pain. One more time over on your left, and then your right. We'll interlace our hands behind our back, allowing our head to drop. And then leading with your hands up towards the sky. Imagine somebody's got a hold of both hands, and they're lifting your upper body up, engaging your core as you do this. Coming back up to standing. Let's heel toe all the way up to mountain. We'll move through one balance challenge here. So moving on into our tree position. Change my camera here a little bit. So shifting our weight over to the right. Hands, we'll keep our hands at the hips. Shift the weight over to the right. And create a little kickstand with that left foot. Bringing your foot up towards that the right ankle. And then slowly bring the foot towards your shin and your calf. And then if you want, you can bring it all the way up to your thigh. Find whichever one works for you. And then bring your hands, lastly, to heart center. Find a focal point, something in front of you that's not moving, called the drishti. Focus on that. Focus on your breath. Your right hip. As you're doing this tree, your right hip draws in, and then you're pressing with that left foot towards the right leg. So it's kind of two motions going on at once, but it keeps you steady and strong and lifted. And lastly, if you would like to grow your branches, lift your arms up towards the sky. One more inhale and exhale. And release that left foot back down and give your hips a little shake. We'll do that on the other side. So shifting your weight over to the left, bring that right foot, create that little kickstand. You can stay here if you want. This is perfectly fine with creating a balance challenge for yourself and just work on the arms and the gaze, or you can lift that foot. You want to go all the way for the challenge, bringing it to your thigh. Press that left hip in towards the right foot. Press the right foot in towards that left. You'll notice a little lifting. So as I did that, I kind of lifted. And then bring your hands to heart center. Deep inhales and deep exhales. And lastly, if you would like to grow your branches, maybe even close your eyes for a really extra added balance challenge. And then release that foot back down and shake it out. Good. All right, we'll move on back down to our mat, cooling down, for our cooling down portion. So inhale, arms up overhead, gaze follows. Exhale, swan dive. Forward fold. Plant your hands and walk them out in front of you, and then walk your feet back, finding downward facing dog. Drop down onto your knees, and then come just down on to your booty. Swing those legs out in front of you. Extend the legs long, and just move the flesh away from your sits bones here. You're gonna flex out of your feet. And you can see here, I'm kind of round. I have really tight hamstrings, so this one's a really challenging position for me. You can keep your knees slightly bent if you have tight hamstrings, or you can just keep your hands behind you, creating a kickstand. That's what I like to do. And then when I do that, I lift up out of my rib cage. Lift out of your spine. If you have the mobility, you can walk your hands forward. You can even find your toes, but the moment you start to round your spine, back out. You want to keep a straight spine in this position. Your chin is slightly tucked and back. Gaze is soft towards your toes. Find your breath. And then we're going to draw the right knee into your chest and just flip it over that left leg. So the left leg is still extended long, flexing out of the left foot. Wrap the left arm around the knee. The right arm comes behind you. Again, press up, lift out of the rib cage, and then take your gaze over the right shoulder. Take an inhale, and on the exhale, twist maybe a little bit deeper. Unwind the twist. Extend the right leg long. Draw the left knee into chest. Bring it on the other side of that right extended leg, flexing out of the right foot. Bring the left arm behind you, creating the kickstand, lifting up. Wrapping your right arm around your knee and twist over to the left. Take a big inhale, and on your exhale, empty out all of your lungs and twist just a little bit deeper. And unwind the twist. Bring the knee, or the foot, excuse me, on the opposite side now of the leg, and bring both knees into your chest, giving yourself a big hug. Drop your chin down towards your chest. Feel that big stretch on the back of your neck. Melt the shoulders down, away from the ears. And then coming back slightly, we're going to move into boat. So you can stay with boat on your tiptoes, your hands on your knees, or you can play with one foot coming up off the ground, then the other. Your hands can come behind your thighs. And then lastly, try both legs lifted. Your chest wants to stay lifted. You have a straight spine here. Your gaze is steady over the toes. If you would like to engage your core even more and create a balance challenge, extend your arms. Breathe into the shaking. Breathe into the full pose. And when you're ready, release those feet back down and give yourself one more hug. And maybe scoot yourself up to the front of your mat so you can have enough space to roll back. Engaging your core muscles once more, drawing that belly button in towards the spine. We're going to roll one vertebrae at a time onto our backs. Keeping the knees bent, walk your feet in towards your glutes. Your arms are extended long beside of you with your palms pressing down. Pressing into your feet, lift your hips up towards the sky for bridge. You can slightly tuck your shoulders underneath, creating even more space in the front of your chest. Notice what your legs and your knees are doing. Often when we come into this pose, our knees want to splay out. Keep them drawn in close towards one another. Pressing firmly into the soles of your feet. Take one more inhale and exhale. And then roll one vertebrae at a time, all the way down. We'll do a little flow here, a little bridge flow. So on the inhale, we'll press up towards the sky. Our arms are going to come up overhead. Exhale, roll one vertebrae at a time. Arms come back down. Inhale, pressing into the soles of those feet. Lift those hips up towards the sky. Arms go up, overhead. Exhale. Slowly roll back down. Arms come to the side. Move through this flow on your own. Coming back to that intention of dedication. Inhaling the new. Exhaling the old. One more time through. And bring both knees into your chest and give yourself a much deserved love hug. Maybe massaging out that lower back, rocking from side to side. For one more final pose before we move into Shavasana. We're going to move into Happy Baby. So keeping your knees drawn into your chest, lift your feet up towards the sky. Your feet are flexed. Your hands can still stay rested on your shins, or you can grab a hold of the outer edge of both feet, drawing those knees towards your elbows and towards the ground. You also want to be aware of what your hips are doing. They want to probably naturally lift up off of the mat, draw them down, keep them melted towards the ground. You can stay steady here in your Happy Baby, or if you'd like to rock from side to side, making it a little more playful, extending one leg and the other, you may do so. Whatever final little movements your body is asking you to do, find those movements. Or if you need to be still, be still. And when you're ready, draw both knees back into your chest. And extend both legs out long, arms up overhead. We will end here in Shavasana. You can stay with the full expression of Shavasana, just as we started the class. Or if you'd like to bring the soles of your feet together, allowing your knees to come out, allowing gravity to open up your hips slightly here, you can do so. One hand can rest on your belly and one hand on your heart. And gently close your eyes. Check in now with how you're feeling now versus the beginning of class. How are you feeling about the new semester starting? Letting the old go. Notice if any tight spots came up for you in class that you didn't know you had, that you were holding on to tension, maybe in your hips you didn't realize you were holding on to. Just notice that without placing judgment on it. Send your final breath work to those spots, giving them some extra oxygen and extra love. You're more than welcome to stay in Shavasana for as long as you would like. If you're ready, though, to complete the practice, wiggle your toes and your fingers, inviting more movement back to your body. Draw your knees into your chest and slowly roll over to your right side. Keeping your eyes closed here. You can press with that left hand, press slowly up to your seated position. Again, keeping your eyes closed if you feel that's good for you. Your hands can rest gently on your knees. We'll move through one more just final little flow here. Inhale, arms up overhead, gaze follows. Palms press. And exhale, hands to heart center. I want to thank you for joining me in the class today. I'm so grateful and humbled. May you go throughout this next week with steadiness and ease and feel love and light within you. Namaste.